سے آفتاب موزم صاحب سے اکرم بٹ صاحب سے اور شعیب ارشاد صاحب سے کہ پلیز ذرا اسٹیج کی طرف آئیں. اور آج کے ہمارے اس خوبصورت پروگرام کے چیف گیسٹ آنریبل شہریار خان آفریدی چیئرمین پاکستان پارلیمنٹری اسپیشل کمیٹی آن کشمیر ہیں. ان سے میں ریکویسٹ کروں گا اور ساتھ میں ایمبیسڈر پاکستان کو اور ڈاکٹر غلام نبی میر صاحب کو, ڈاکٹر غلام نبی فیض صاحب کو کہ ورلڈ کشمیر اویئرنیس فورم کی طرف سے ایک سرٹیفکیٹ شہریار آفریدی خان صاحب کو ہم پیش کریں گے. تو ان سے ریکویسٹ ہے اگر آپ آ جائیں تو پھر باقاعدہ پروگرام کا ہم آغاز کریں گے. یہاں پر ہمارے جتنے بھی میڈیا کے پرنٹ الیکٹرانک میڈیا کے یہاں پر نمائندگان ہیں میں ان کا شکریہ ادا کرتا ہوں. یہاں پر ہمارے بہت ساری ڈگنیٹریز کمیونٹی کی بیٹھی ہوئی ہیں کیونکہ ٹائم ہمارے پاس اب مختصر رہ گیا ہے. تو من جملہ جتنے بھی ہمارے یہاں پر جو گیسٹ ہیں اٹینڈیز ہیں میں ان کا انتہائی شکر گزار بھی ہوں اور جو انہوں نے یہاں پر تمل مزاجی کا مظاہرہ بھی کیا کیونکہ اب ہم لوگ بنا ٹائم ضائع کیے ہوئے انشاءاللہ تعالیٰ جو آج کے ایم سی کے فرائض جو ہیں وہ ڈاکٹر غلام نبی فیض صاحب جنرل سیکرٹری ورلڈ کشمیر اویئرنیس فورم وہ خود کریں گے. تو ان سے میں ریکویسٹ کروں گا کہ وہ آئیں اور پوڈیم کو سنبھالیں اور جو پروگرام کا باقاعدہ انشاءاللہ ہم آغاز کریں گے. تو ایک بار میں انشاءاللہ دوبارہ ہمارے زیادہ وہ اسپیکر تو نہیں ہیں لیکن جو رائٹ سائڈ کے اوپر ہمارے جتنے بھی بھائی ہیں ان سے ریکویسٹ ہے کہ ڈیورنگ جو پروگرام ہے اگر تھوڑی سی ڈسٹربنس کم ہو تو بہت اچھی بات ہے. تو ڈاکٹر غلام نبی فیض صاحب کے لیے بھرپور تعلیم ان کا استقبال کیجیے.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. Honorable Chief Guest, dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. First of all, I would like to express deep appreciation to all of you to come here from distances to listen to our distinguished speakers on the subject of Kashmir. I think it is very relevant here that I should also thank the Pakistani American community, not only here in Washington metropolitan area, but beyond. Why should I thank them? I should thank them for their support that they have given to the cause of Kashmir for so many years. Honorable Shehryar Afridi Sahab, I am sure that you know it. The members of Pakistani American community, they have different political affiliations in Pakistan. Be it PTI, People's Party of Pakistan, Muslim League Noon, Jamaat Islami Pakistan, Jamiat Ulama-e Pakistan, Jamiat Ulama-e Islam and others. But to tell you frankly, and I am sure that everybody is going to endorse what I am going to say, when it comes to the issue of Kashmir, all these brothers and sisters, they forget about their political affiliations and they join hands with the Kashmiri American community. For that, I would like to thank the leadership of Pakistani American community for their generosity, for their kindness and for their prayers. The topic of today, Kashmir dispute and the role of Pakistan. I do not know whether you have heard the name of Ambassador Yusuf Bas. They call him Bush in America. He was an encyclopedia on Kashmir. He was born in the valley of Kashmir, but he spent his life in Pakistan and in America. He was the senior advisor to the Secretary General of the United Nations for 18 years. Dear brothers and sisters, please listen. The message he gave me, and the message is for everybody here. He said, we Kashmiri American community, we must have our own strategy, and we must knock the door of every single member of Congress. And we must also knock the door of embassies, not only in Washington, but also in New York. But what he said later is very relevant and very important. He said, never ever underestimate the diplomatic support of Pakistan to the cause of Kashmir. He said, without the diplomatic support of Pakistan, you cannot move an inch to mobilize the global public square. That's why we are honored today to listen to distinguished guests from Pakistan. Shehryar Afridi, Chairman, Pakistan Parliamentary Committee on Kashmir, and obviously our respected Ambassador Dr. Asad Majid, who represents the state of Pakistan in America. But before inviting them, I would like to invite Dr. Gulam Nabi Mir. He is the president of World Kashmir Awareness Forum. He comes from the Valley of Kashmir. He is a gastroenterologist by profession, and he has been the president of developmental foundation of one of the major Islamic organization in America, which is known as Islamic Society of North America. He is the president of Islamic Society of Akron and Kenton, although he has moved to Virginia very recently in the past few weeks. And he is also engaged in the interfaith, and he was invited by the government of China as a part of the delegation of interfaith. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of World Kashmir Awareness Forum, Dr. Gulam Nabi Mir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Honorable Chairman Shehryar Afridi, Excellency Ambassador Asad Majid, dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd like to welcome you all to this dinner hosted by the World Kashmir Awareness Forum in honor of the chairman of the Pakistan Parliamentary Special Committee on Kashmir, Chairman Shehryar Khan Afridi. World Kashmir Awareness Forum is a 501c3 non-profit US-based advocacy organization established in 2005 for the sole purpose of public advocacy of the cause of Kashmir. On behalf of my board, I would like to welcome the Excellency Ambassador Asad Majid, the Ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, to this great nation and to this great city of Washington, D.C. And I'd like to thank you for graciously accepting our invitation on short notice. The Kashmiri diaspora in the US is one of the most patriotic communities in this great nation. And as His Excellency Ambassador Asad Majid knows so well, the Pakistani American diaspora shares the same level of dedication to the cause of American dream and to the patriotism. Together, we richly contribute to this new homeland of ours. And At the same time, we also contribute richly to our lands of birth, Pakistan and Kashmir. Honorable Chairman Afridi, we in the World Kashmir Awareness Forum Board have a great degree of respect for you, for your commitment to the cause of Kashmir. We have shared several webinars and we have been encouraged. We have shared that sentiment with you on several occasions in the past, and I just want to reiterate it again here tonight. We also know that Kashmiri exiles and their leadership in different parts of Pakistan value your leadership and your commitment to the cause of Kashmir. As the chairman of the Kashmir Committee, your enthusiasm and your dynamism are much appreciated by our Kashmiris in the occupied Kashmir, Azad Kashmir and Pakistan. Your engagement with the Kashmiri leadership has infused a breath of fresh air into Kashmiri people despite seeming insurmountable odds we have been facing over the last 7+ decades. At the hands of Indian military machine, we cherish the moral support of your brothers and sisters of Azad Kashmir, of every persuasion and political party. We deeply appreciate the loving relationship and moral support of our brothers and sisters in Pakistan who stand with us. Our people have suffered vicious attacks from our enemy ever since the origin of the Kashmir conflict. Last but not the least, because time is short, we are grateful for the moral and principled leadership of the indomitable Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, who has spoken at every international platform for the right to self-determination for 15 million Kashmiris. After all, this is the core and the crux of the Kashmiri conflict, the right of self-determination. Going back to 1948, when the United Nations Security Council resolutions supported the cause of plebiscite and ordered a plebiscite in Kashmir. That is why it remains on the United States and United Nations Security Council agenda as a part of unfinished business of the United Nations. Meanwhile, it's an obligation on all of us to support the struggle waged by the brave Kashmiris. So thank you for visiting us and sharing your vision of the Kashmiri freedom struggle and what your government can do for us as we go forward. Allah bless Kashmir, Allah bless Pakistan, and may Allah bless entire humanity for the sake of peace and prosperity for all people. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you, Dr. Mir Saab. Dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Ambassador Dr. Asad Majid Khan Saab. If there is anybody here who has not, been able to know this man, then I don't think you live in the Washington metropolitan area. You should be living in the moon. He is the Pakistani ambassador to the United States. He has also been Pakistani ambassador to Indonesia, Japan, maybe next time Indonesia. He has been the additional foreign secretary of government of Pakistan. And to me, very interestingly, he has been coordinator of G77 of the United Nations. Why it is interesting that if everything goes well, the next chairman of G77 will be Ambassador Munir Akram, inshallah, because he has already offered his candidacy for that, inshallah. Dr. Saab has PhD in international relations, but not from Qaid-e-Azam University. He has PhD from Kyushu University, Japan. It is really my honor and pleasure to present to you Ambassador Asad Majid Khan Saab, who represents the state of Pakistan.
Honorable Shehryar Khan Afridi, Chairman, Parliamentary Special Committee on Kashmir, Dr. Ghulam Nabi Faiz Saab, Dr. Ghulam Nabi Mir Saab, and all the office bearers and principals of the World Kashmir Awareness Forum. I am greatly honored to be joining you this evening to talk about an issue which is very, very close to all our hearts. But before I discuss Kashmir, I'd like to take a few moments to convey our gratitude to both Dr. Ghulam Nabi Faiz Saab and to Dr. Ghulam Nabi Mir Saab for having devoted a lifetime to the cause of Kashmir. And through their dedication and through their determination, no matter what the odds were, they kept the Kashmir flag flying in this country. And for that, I think all the Kashmiri Americans and Pakistani Americans owe a debt of gratitude to both these luminaries of the Kashmiri cause. Today, Kashmir faces a very unusual and unprecedented situation. There is a government in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and there is a government in India that has unfortunately turned everything upside down by going back even on the commitments that the Indian leadership had made to the people of Kashmir. They have violated their bilateral agreements and arrangements with Pakistan, and on top of that, they have also violated the international commitments that they had made to the UN Security Council in terms of promising the Kashmiris their right of self-determination. And through the actions, the unilateral actions that India took on August 5, 2019, they have tried to alter the status on the ground. And this is clearly unacceptable to the people of Kashmir. This is clearly unacceptable to the people of Pakistan. And Pakistan and our leadership, Prime Minister Imran Khan, as you all know, had publicly stated that he will be the ambassador of Kashmir. And I can tell you that the Prime Minister and his entire government has left no stone unturned in bringing the Kashmiri cause, in highlighting the atrocities that are being committed in Kashmir to the attention of the international community. I give you one recent example of his speech at the UN General Assembly. And not just that speech, but also the Foreign Minister of Pakistan had 25 meetings with his counterparts during the UN General Assembly in New York. And I can tell you that in every single meeting, that the foreign minister had, the Kashmir issue was raised and the atrocities that the government of India was committed against innocent civilians in the Indian illegally occupied Kashmir were brought to the attention of all of those foreign ministers. In fact, Honorable Shehryar Khan Afridi also joined the foreign minister together, which was again, I must say, unprecedented, together with the president of Azad Jammu and Kashmir, Barrister Sultan Mahmood, in their meeting with the UN Secretary General, where the government of Pakistan presented the latest dossier listing the atrocities that Indian occupation forces have committed against the people of Kashmir since 1989. And to just give you a sense, because today we are also gathered here to promote awareness. I know all of them live Kashmir every day. You are certainly familiar with. But what we have done is to basically inventorize for the attention of the international community the atrocities that have been committed. And in the dossier, if I present to you a very, very brief, of course, we gave out the evidence, we gave out details, we gave out video clips of how and where those atrocities are being committed. But just to give you a sense of what is happening, 8,652 unmarked graves. And Kashmir today is the most militarized region in the world. 25,000 pellet gun injuries, 96,000 extrajudicial killings, 11,250 women unfortunately raped, 108,000 children orphaned, 162,000 arbitrary arrests, and 23,000 women widowed. This is the sad tale of Kashmir. And many of you, I know, live that through the pain and agony that is shared with you through your families who still live in the Indian occupied Kashmir. And we share your pain as Pakistanis, and it is as much your cause as it is our cause. And Pakistan government remains committed to providing the moral, diplomatic and political support. What happened at the funeral of esteemed Sayyid Ali Jilani is really an indication of the desperation, I would say, and the manner in which it was done is absolute indication of the desperation of Indian government and the extent to which they can stoop low in suppressing the voice of Kashmiris. But I think I would be remiss in not acknowledging the important role that our community, the Kashmiri American community, the Pakistani American community has to play. Since after August 5, 2019, the community, the Pakistani American community and the Kashmiri American community came together to become the voice of voiceless Kashmiris. And as a result of that, we clearly saw the halls of Congress moving and noticing the oppression in Kashmir. There were at least 64 messages, letters, tweets, and statements issued by both the members of the House and the Senate. And in that, I must thank the important role that the community played. And not just that, I think in the world, the US Congress was one body where both the Landos Commission as well as the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Subcommittee on South Asia, convened to review the situation, the human rights situation in the occupied Kashmir. And I think that's where I'd like to, and this is what I was discussing with Dr. Ghulam Nabi Mir and Dr. Ghulam Nabi Faisal, that I think we are in for the long haul. Indian government is clearly determined to not let the reign of terror end. And for that, we will have to be even more determined in becoming the voice of voiceless Kashmiris. And in that regard, while what government of Pakistan can do, we will continue to do. But here in this country, I think nothing moves the way the community can make things move. And that's where we'll have to work together in becoming that voice, in raising that the issues that and the challenges that the Kashmiri community is facing, to their congressmen, to their senators, to all the policy influentials. And in that regard, I think this Kashmir Awareness Forum and all those bodies that are working to highlight the atrocities being committed against innocent civilians in Kashmir have to come together. Because what we are seeing is that the Indian government is determined to not let up their oppression. And also what we are seeing is the worst fears that we had coming true in terms of a very concerted effort being made to change and alter the demography of the Kashmir. And already we see that more than 400,000 fake domiciles have been issued. And that is what we feared, and that is what we actually flagged to the policy community here, that all these actions essentially are basically designed to alter the basic situation on the ground. And this is where we are as Pakistan Embassy and we as representatives of Pakistan very clear-eyed on the basis of the instructions that we received from Islamabad to continue to provide all diplomatic, moral and political support, and the presence of the chairman of the Special Committee on Kashmir from our parliament is really a clear reflection of our determination and commitment to the cause of Kashmir. So I thank the organizers once again for organizing this very important get-together, and I look forward to continue to working with you in highlighting the cause of Kashmir here in the United States.
Thank you, Ambassador Dr. Asad Majid. Dear ladies and gentlemen, to listen to our chief guest. For that, I would like to invite Dr. Imtiaz Khan Saab, who is the member of Board of Directors of World Kashmir Awareness Forum. I may have to also introduce him. To tell you frankly, I have a copy of his biodata. It is single space, but there are 27 pages. So if you want me, I can go through it. We are already late. He teaches at George Washington University Medical Center. He is from the Valley of Kashmir. And he has, mashallah, so many prestigious awards from different universities, including his own, George Washington University. So he has more than 23 publications, and that's what he has been doing for the last 30 years. Dr. Khan, please introduce our guest of honor, Shehryar Afridi Khan Sahab.
Thank you, Faisal, for this generous introduction. His Excellency Ambassador Asad Majid and Honorable Chairman of Kashmir Committee, Dr. Mir, Dr. Fai. And it gives me immense pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Chairman Shehryar Khan Afridi, who has a degree in International Affairs from University of Peshawar. He was elected for the first time in 2013 as a member of National Assembly of Pakistan. And those of us who are watching Pakistan television, and I could see his participation in talk shows and parliament, everything. And what I felt was that in Pakistan, baton has been passed to the younger generation. The way he basically pursued the agenda of his constituency and the agenda of his party was quite admirable. He did a fantastic job as a member of National Embassy, and as a result of that, he was nominated again by his party in 2018. And PTI government was formed, and he was given the portfolio of Minister for Home Affairs. And we can remember he unleashed his basically will on the drug traffickers, and there was a lot of news going on that he was coming on the drug traffickers with heavy hand. And in 2020, Prime Minister Imran Khan appointed him as the chairman of Kashmiri Affairs Committee of the Pakistani parliamentarians. And in 2014, when I visited Pakistan, what I saw that I really couldn't get the sense of what is the agenda, if there is any, of Kashmiri committee. It had come to a grinding halt, and it was in cold storage. When Imran Khan's government came in, we were screeching and screaming for a new chairman, for somebody who has shown the dynamism towards the cause. And we were delighted when a young person, young parliamentarian like Shehryar Khan Afridi was appointed as the chairman. And then there was a suggestion that WKAF board should meet Mr. Afridi. And we had a Zoom meeting. And what was very interesting, we told him that we want to hear him. But his first comment was, I want to hear you. And each and every board member of WKF expressed the opinion of what their expectation. And the meeting lasted for 3 hours. I had to recharge my computer so many times. And he gave a very exhaustive agenda, what he wanted, and it was a refreshing change. The two of his points which really struck to my heart, one of them is that we don't have to take this fight from government to government. The agendas of the government can change based on national interest. We have to take fight to the people. We have to basically approach academic institutions. The think tanks comprised of professors, and Pakistan unfortunately has not tapped that resource. We have minimal representation of Pakistanis in academic institutions as compared to India. It is a long haul. It will take time to basically, to pay attention or to see something to get materialized. But what can be done? We have to involve social scientists of Pakistan's reputed universities. They can have workshops, they can have seminars, and call international social scientists where they can discuss the trauma which youth are facing in a violent atmosphere which is persistent in Kashmir. And the second point which he said in that Zoom meeting, and he repeated that in New York, was that he wants to involve media. Like they said, pictures is worth thousands of words. The Kashmiri struggle, as the ambassador said, has started from 1989. But we still don't have any feature full related to Kashmir. There are myriad of incidents which have happened in that region. And one of them, which is very close to my heart, is Punan Pochpora. Why can't we have a feature film which depicts the atrocities and the carnage which happened in Punan Pochpora? You have said you have a lot of talent in Pakistan. You have producers and directors like Shoaib Mansoor, Mehreen Jabbar, who can tackle this subject efficiently. And imagine if that movie goes to International Film Festival. A lot of Mehreen Jabbar's movies on social agenda has been telecasted in the international film festivals. What kind of effect it have? So, sir, we need a change, and we see that in you. And people of Kashmir have lot of hopes on you. I salute your dynamism, your dedication, and your depth of knowledge about Kashmir issue. And I hope it is highly infectious and it spreads to higher echelons of Pakistani ruling establishment. Thank you very much. With these words, I present to you Chairman Shehryar Afridi. Thank you.
सैयद अली गिलानी शहीद, अशरफ खान सहराई शहीद, कश्मीर के तमाम शुहदा, उनके लिए हम पहले फातिहा करेंगे, फिर उसके बाद आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट होगी कि 1 मिनट की हम स्टैंडिंग साइलेंस, ए टोकन ऑफ लव अक्रॉस द ग्लोब जो कोविड में इस दुनिया से जितने प्यारे और लोग, चाहे वो इस मुल्क के हों चाहे वो किसी मुल्क के हों, उनके लिए हम वो भी करेंगे। तो पहले हम मिलकर फातिहा पढ़ेंगे जी। اللهم من أحييت منا فحي الإسلام ومن توفيت منا فتوفه إلى الإيمان. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. I would now request all of you if you can stand up. 1 minute silence as a token of respect from Kashmiri and Pakistani community to all those who have lost their loved ones across the globe, especially in COVID. Thank you. नहमदुहु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिल करीम अम्मा बाद फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली सदक़ल्लाहुल मौलानाल अज़ीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम वल्लाहुल लज़ी ला इलाहा इल्ला हु आलिमुल ग़ैबि व शहादति वर रहमानिर रहीम वल्लाहुल लज़ी ला इलाहा इल्ला हु अल मलिकुल कुद्दूसुस सलामुल मुअमिनुल मुहैमिनुल अज़ीज़ुल जब्बारुल मुतकब्बिर सुब्हानल्लाहि अम्मा युश्रिकून वल्लाहुल ख़ालिक़ुल बारिउल मुसव्विरु लहुल अस्माउल हुस्ना युसब्बिहु लहु मा फ़िस समावाति वल अर्ज़ व हुवल अज़ीज़ुल हकीम सदक़ल्लाहुल मौलानाल अज़ीम। आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि एक दफ़ा सब मिलकर इज्तिमाई तौर पे हम दरूद शरीफ पढ़ेंगे। A very dear brother, someone who has contributed enormously. He lives not only in the heart of every Ravian, my senior. I had a very brief interaction with him, found him a true son of the soil, blessed enormously. Someone who is well equipped to do the needful at the highest level. Our ambassador, His Excellency Asad Munir, my brother, thank you for coming. Then I would like to name 4 Kashmiri genuine professionals who have made us proud. Their contribution, their commitment, their passion is unprecedented. Dr. Nabi Faisal, you are a mentor and inspiration, and inshallah, let me assure you that this teamwork is going to do wonders, inshallah. Another stalwart, someone who lives in my heart, Dr. Ghulam Nabi Saab, again blessed enormously. Dr. Amjad, Dr. Imtiaz Khan Saab, Dr. Rauf, all the stakeholders of World Kashmir Awareness Forum, my genuine unsung heroes, our pride, our honor, our baseline, dynamic Pakistani American community, then Kashmiri community, all the stakeholders who have made it possible today, along with media. May the blessing of Allah be upon all of you. May Allah guide and protect you in the best possible manner. May Allah give you an opportunity to become an example for others. Ladies and gentlemen, Washington DC, the capital of a country which is known for liberty, equality, freedom of voice, freedom of expression, freedom of worship, a platform to provide you an opportunity to excel. And on the behalf of my motherland, on the behalf of my Honorable Prime Minister, and on the behalf of the Parliament of Pakistan, we are very grateful, and let me assure that together we will do the needful when it comes to global peace, anything in the best interest of humanity. And we owe your commitment and your support to Pakistani and Kashmiri diaspora. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Kashmir Parliamentary Committee to you first. This committee consists of 28 members of both the houses, Senate and National Assembly. I am here as a Pakistani. Parliament, supposedly known across the globe as the voice of the nation, Qibla or Kaaba of any state. Similarly, when we talk of the Parliament of Pakistan, I am representing all the political parties in both the houses. The former Prime Minister Raja Parvez Ashraf Saab is one of my members. Shri Rahman Sahiba, former ambassador to United States of America, another member of my committee. Similarly, Mushahid Hussain Sayyid Saab, another stalwart. Similarly, Khurram Dastagir. The list is endless. So I am representing the Parliament of Pakistan. And when it comes to Kashmir, every stakeholder, every household, every child, anyone from any background of any federating unit, whether he is or she is from Punjab, which is my baseline, whether he or she is from Sindh, which is my pride, whether he or she is from Balochistan, which is my strength, whether he or she is from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which is my dignity, whether he or she is from Gilgit-Baltistan, he and she is my eyes and ears, and when he and she is from Azad Kashmir, they are my not only hope, but they are the ones who are giving us constantly and reminding us as a nation that that incomplete agenda of the partition need to be accomplished by a united Pakistan, and inshallah we are going to achieve that. That is the commitment of the Parliament of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, why I am here? What is the sole objective? So I would like to give you a brief history of Parliamentary Committee on Kashmir. Ladies and gentlemen, through parliamentary democracy, oversight, we were supposed to do the needful. Don't forget our motherland, Pakistan. Our motherland for whom millions of people have sacrificed their lives. That motherland whose sons and daughters are still living in camps. Would you like to know who they are? Internally displaced, millions of tribals, Pashtuns, who have given everything to our motherland. For the global peace, that country, Pakistan, has made a commitment. And that commitment is that we as a nation will play a pivotal role for global peace, and all those who are at the receiving end. Especially, we will become the voice of the unheard. Ladies and gentlemen, that incomplete agenda is still lying on the table of United Nations. That commitment which was given to us, not only to us, but to the people of IOJK, Ladakh, Azad Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan, and that commitment was right to self-determination. Unfortunately, where we stand today, I was given this task by my Prime Minister in this recently concluded UNGA 76 session. I came all the way along with our Foreign Minister and the President of Azad Kashmir, and with our UN and our diplomatic team under Excellency Asad Saab. We as a team reached out to those who matter the most, the movers and shakers, the key global stakeholders, starting it from UN Secretary General to OIC foreign ministers, to the former ministers of all those who matter the most, Amnesty International, human rights wing, and the sole objective was to make them realize and give them the message. And those who are going through a lean patch, tyranny, oppression, siege is the order of the day. We make them realize the message was given, and apart from that, as Asad Munir Saab just mentioned, dossiers were given. So ladies and gentlemen, why I was sent here? When we talk of the Parliament, we should have initiated such initiatives where we could have reached out to congressmen and women, senators, human rights organizations, civil society, then think tanks, which matter the most, and above all, the people of the proud nation United States of America. When we watch back in Pakistan, US Got Talent, we witness one thing, that whosoever go through pain and agony, those who have learned or those who make it to that level through a hard way, when they narrate their stories, we see tears in the eyes of all. And similarly, when it comes to polio vaccination, global immunization, because I am the champion of Gavi, Melinda and Gates Foundation, and then as an active member of European Union, when it comes to Parliamentarian Without Borders, there are 46,552 parliamentarians. EU, they've selected only 16, and I am one of them since 8 years. I know the contribution of the prosperous world. They've always been there. The sole objective of them is to come to the rescue of humanity. So similarly, the missing link was to reach out to academia, to all those who can make a difference. Interactive session could have been initiated with the youth of the prosperous world. We could have done wonders. Unfortunately, I don't want to go into blame game, but 5th August 2019, turned the table upside down, revoking of 35A and 370 from the Indian Constitution. It created or initiated an opportunity to make the globe realize that South Asia, ladies and gentlemen, every word of mine from this point onwards is something which needs to be given due importance. From 5th August 2019, South Asia has become a daunting task, a challenge for the prosperous world. Why I'm saying that? As a student of international politics, I've studied American history, European history, British history, Islamic history, contemporary history, starting it from 1688 of Glorious Revolution. All those who lost their loved ones, and when it comes to the failure of Versailles Treaty, failure of League of Nations, and then the new commitment which was given by all the signatories in the shape of United Nations when it was established in 1945, the sole objective of the key global stakeholders was that polarization of humanity will be discarded. No one will be bullied. Humanity will be given priority number one. No one in the name of power, in the name of different slogans will be valued more. The commitment was that everyone will be treated equally. And then every stakeholder started believing in United Nations and their slogan. And let me assure you, United Nations baseline is humanity. Every religion baseline is humanity. Every constitution, written or unwritten, of any responsible state across the globe, baseline is humanity. So, but when we talk of South Asia, why my Prime Minister on different key global forums, why all the stakeholders, my Foreign Minister, why our National Security Advisor, why our professionals and diplomatic key team players are constantly reminding the prosperous world to wake up. Ladies and gentlemen, if we include Russia, half of the globe lives in South Asia. 4 countries have got nuclear power, nuclear deterrence. Russia, China, India and Pakistan. We are not against any religion. We are not against any country. We value humanity because we have suffered enormously since 1979. Our children were slaughtered. Our loved ones taken out from their graves and they were hanged. Our loved ones were slaughtered and their heads were placed on their chest. And no one could touch them for 72 hours. Every household became a victim of drugs. 85% of all sorts of drugs are manufactured in Afghanistan. Alternative means were never given to them. Reconstruction and development of Afghanistan was not given due importance. Who suffered? We suffered. And then our passport and credibility suffered across the globe. Green passport carrier was perceived as a drug dealer or drug carrier. Ladies and gentlemen, sectarianism, radicalization, intolerance, above all, we were deliberately targeted in such a manner where the anti-Pakistan forces could portray to the world that Pakistan is, God forbid, a rug or a failed state. Hats off to the resilience of our motherland. We never compromised. We stood firm. And the commitment of my motherland and all the stakeholders was that we will never give up. We will go all out. We will protect humanity at all costs. Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to know what our contribution has been for the global community? So start counting. Number 1. We became the first line of defense against all sorts of illicit drugs. Anti-narcotic force, law enforcing agencies, civil armed forces, our opinion leaders, so civil society, all the stakeholders, federal and provincial governments, sole objective was to become a main wall and a main support for the entire global community, so that what we suffer, the rest of the globe shouldn't go through that pain and agony. But world never valued us for that. No issue. Our aim is to keep on working and doing the needful. Because reward is usually given by only one power. That is the divine power in which we all believe. Ladies and gentlemen, the second thing which I would like to share with you, biggest war on land. We are fighting all sort of extremism, terrorism, radicalization, intolerance, those miscreants. You know how many precious lives of my motherland were sacrificed? More than 80,000. Imagine the agony and pain of the orphans, the widows, those parents who have lost their loved ones. But again, another important area, $150 billion of losses. Then another contribution, ladies and gentlemen, our role in peacekeeping, force under UN in different African and other countries, our 9 million Pakistani diaspora, which is doing wonders across the globe. Especially hats off to the one who are here in US, and one of the congressmen in my presence said that Pakistani diaspora in United States of America, they are doing wonders and they are doing a remarkable job. That's what your commitment is. You have made your presence in such a manner that the world has started valuing you. You have competed with the best of the best because you have the ability. You come from that country which is blessed in every way. Unfortunately, opportunities were not there, reward was not there. We had to go through a lean patch, but your commitment, your passion, and this country and the opportunity provided you a platform where you have excelled and made a name now. And this is a very proud moment for my motherland, and we are very proud of you. Another area, ladies and gentlemen, again, which we all need to know, we constantly reminded the entire globe that humanity comes first, not by slogans. Since 42 years, unprecedented in human history, we are catering refugees, millions of refugees, more than 3 million Afghan refugees. Would you like to know, they are not restricted to camps. 68% of them are living outside camps. My Prime Minister gave 1.4 million registered refugees bank accounts. And even after Pulwama, imagine my Prime Minister and the government of Pakistan and all the stakeholders. For Afghanistan, we allowed airspace and we provided the movement of their goods, especially from Afghanistan via Wada. Why would we be doing that? Because Afghanistan is not only our neighbor, we value them, we respect them. We constantly reminding the global community and the prosperous world, peace in Afghanistan means peace in Pakistan. We are not the spokespersons of Afghanistan. As a non-landlocked country, we are there to facilitate them. But when it comes to internal dynamics, all the stakeholders of Afghanistan as a sovereign independent state, they are the ones who can take their own decision. The future is in their hand, and if they do the needful according to the wishes of the global community, if they give due importance to women, minorities, children, people of all age group, if they start taking everyone on board, the whole world will value them. But again, having said all this, we have been doing the needful at all levels, but unfortunately, the world remained mum. And then, let me remind the global community, 47, we came into power, 54, 55, Sito Cento, then comes Cold War, Deta, peaceful coexistence, then after 9/11, in all fronts, at all levels, shoulder to shoulder, Pakistan remained committed with West. We were there for them. Even evacuation of different nationalities, key stakeholders from Afghanistan, Pakistan did the needful. But ladies and gentlemen, when we talk of humanity, the world needs to know that those who are living in IIOJK, why I'm saying illegal Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir, after 35 and 370, when it was abrogated, you know what happens? International armed conflict, international humanitarian crisis, war crimes are being committed. And then it doesn't stop here. Demographic terrorism is the order of the day. More than 4.1 million Indians are brought from different parts of India, and they are being settled and given nationality, and the new laws were introduced. Citizenship Amendment Act, domicile law, and then another initiative. If I tell you, the world needs to understand and needs to explore. The Indian present government came up with a law by the name of Ghar Wapsi program. Come back home. They are telling to all the minorities of India that you were forcefully converted. Whether someone is Christian, someone is Dalit from lower caste Hindus, or someone is Muslim, imagine they are telling them to convert back into Hindus, otherwise you have no place in India. You have already millions of refugees. The prosperous world dynamics have changed. 85% of the less developed world, rather third world countries are taking care of those refugees. You have got stateless in millions again. You can't cater them. Even in this COVID, when everyone was giving due importance to their own citizens, my Prime Minister became a voice for the unheard. How? He requested UN General Secretary General UN, High Commissioner of UNHCR, that what about the millions of refugees? UN need to come forward and provide them some sort of financial assistance. Then G20, G8, G7, my Prime Minister requested the global key stakeholders to come to the rescue of those who are at the receiving end, especially nations, the third world countries. Similarly, now when I'm giving you few facts and figures regarding India, let me assure you we are not against India. We value everyone, because from here the message needs to be given loud and clear. Lot of misperception is associated with our religion and with our country. When it comes to Moses, when it comes to Torah, when it comes to Jesus, when it comes to Bible, when it comes to Mary, every Muslim who believe in Allah and the Holy Prophet Khatimun Nabeen Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if they are able to believe in them, they are not Muslims. How can we in any capacity challenge them? When you say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, you become the voice of the entire humanity. Go through our history. We don't value anything which can polarize or humiliate humanity. So ladies and gentlemen, the ones who live in my neighborhood, I need to value all of them. And that's why my Prime Minister has constantly been asking for, let's resolve all those outstanding disputes addressing India. But ladies and gentlemen, what happened that in the name of rising and shining India, in the name of trade, in the name of different other things, the so-called secular country, the world is more or less more important, giving due importance to trade and economics. Yes, trade, business, economics is something which is very important. But this world will become meaningless without humans. Humanity comes first. The commitment of UN and all the religions, all the constitution, the UN Charter, when they give due importance to women. So my Prime Minister, my country is now requesting all the global key stakeholders that those who are living in IIOJK, are they not humans? Why we are associating them with India, Pakistan, or any other religion. They are humans. They are not the children of a lesser God. They need to be given respect, because when their daughter is raped, when they are bullied, when they are victimized in the name of power politics, humanity start bleeding, and the world and humanity will start polarized. Let's wake up and make them realize that you are as human as anyone else. If you are unable to do that, then the world needs to know. The world needs to know, ladies and gentlemen. The world needs to know, because I am a father. I have got 3 daughters. Daughter belongs to their parents, especially to their father. Imagine the agonies. Are we still waiting for those horrific scenes? When a Syrian refugee, that child lying dead on the sea. Where we are heading for? What we are trying to convey? Ladies and gentlemen, nuclear deterrence, mutual assured destruction abilities. What does it say? God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. What happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? The world needs to know that if someone who is not willing to allow you any space, when a 92 years old, passionate Kashmiri who believes in human rights and human dignity, was not even, his dead body was snatched. He was not given funeral according to his wish. And all those who are in Tihar jail, in those concentration camps, those boys and girls, and the mantra is we are working on their brain. Ladies and gentlemen, prisoner of conscience, UAPA law, where any sane voice who become a voice for the unheard, they are thrown behind the bars. Similarly, information terrorism. 15 years, for 15 years, 750 labs in 115 countries, fake news. Who was doing this? India. Who made the globe realize that they are spreading fake news? PTI or Imran Khan or any other political party of Pakistan is not responsible for that. EU Disinfo Lab exposed them. So demographic terrorism, information terrorism, and then cultural terrorism. How? Tourism, identity, jobs, property, their existence has been challenged, and they can't breathe. Their mosques, in the name of interfaith harmony, are being converted into temples. And ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't stop here. Imagine someone who is living there, he or she has to be extra cautious, because in the name of their pride, their dignity, anything can happen to them. So now my question is, who will come to their rescue? Amnesty International has been told not to function in India. Imagine if Pakistan has done this, what would have happened? Sanctions would have been imposed on us. Why India has been treated the other way around? My question is that when we go and explore, so now I want to remind all those who are a part of academia, think tanks, that everyone values Nelson Mandela. We value him too. He became a voice for the unheard. Would you like to know there is another gentleman who is behind the bars since 29 years? His name is Dr. Qasim Fattu, husband of Asian Darabi. Both of them are behind the bars. Nobody talks about them. Without any rhyme and reason. Who is going to do the needful? 2018, 19, 19, 20 UN Human Rights Committee is constantly trying to ask India to provide access to envoys. Forget about in foreign observers, they are not even allowing their opposition parties to visit. So now, more than 8 million humans are in the biggest jail, and the world is constantly telling the global key stakeholders to believe in sustainable development goals. Do the needful. They constantly remind us that women empowerment, needs to be given due importance. But what about those who have no one, who are totally expecting and at the mercy of the divine power, and then selfless? UN international law, any state law provides human that ability to protect yourself. They are being bulldozed because they are nothing to offer. You cannot use pellet guns against animals, and you are using against humans. How the world is going to justify that? Why radicalization? Why new terminologies? Why Professor Ettington came with that theory of clash of civilization? Why humanity is at a dragon's dawn? Why in the name of religion, in the name of language, in the name of sex, in the name of nationalities? Why we are being polarized? Ladies and gentlemen, Kashmir Committee has decided that we will now do the needful in a genuine professional manner. We competed, we value India, but we competed with them when it comes to cricket, when it comes in hockey, in every field. And let me assure you, the message to Indians, to the Prime Minister of India, to all the stakeholders of India, we value you, we respect you, but don't forget, we have always competed against you. The Parliament of Pakistan has decided that we will take Kashmir issue to every forum, and we will make it sure that they are given their due rights, inshallah. 177 years. The story started from 1834. When Dogras, you know what they did to Kashmir and Kashmiris? They are on a hunt, wondering whether they will get that commitment which is given to them or not. So we have decided, the Parliament, academia, I am very proudly announcing here from this platform that these professionals, Dr. Nabi Fai, Dr. Nabi Mir, Dr. Imtiaz, Dr. Rauf, Dr. Amjad, all the key stakeholders of World Kashmir Awareness Forum, they are a part of my advisory board for academia. Our parliament, civil society, human rights activists, parliamentarians, Kashmiri stakeholders. Now aim is to reach out to all the academia, to all the universities. We will do interactive sessions with them. We will make them realize to start writing in their journals articles on Kashmir. For example, if I ask anyone that what is half widow, nobody knows. The reason we haven't done the needful. Half widow means when a wife is unaware of her husband, whether he is alive or not for days, not for weeks, not for months, but for years and years. Similarly, the effect of 35A and 370. Similarly, those who are in concentration camps, boys and girls, in the name of interfaith harmony, what they are doing. So number one, academia. Number two, cultural front. We now have realized that sports and culture unite. We recently made the whole world realize to come and see that journey from terrorism to tourism. We recently held an event, Kashmir Premier League in Azad Kashmir. 100 key stakeholders of cricket. They spent 2 weeks there. Indian Cricket Board tried their level best to convince International Cricket Council. They even tried to pressurize Herschel Gibbs of South Africa, Monty Palliser, all the commentators and players. But they didn't realize that the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the moment he came into power, we came up with an initiative of visa policy. 173 countries online, 99 countries business, 50 countries on arrival. We are asking the entire globe, Come, seeing is believing. You, if you want to go to any district, there are 10 districts of Azad Kashmir. Similarly, 10 districts of Gilgit-Baltistan. If you want to visit Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, March, former March Fata. Similarly, Punjab, any nook and corner of Pakistan, come and see it with your own eyes, because Pakistan has made a commitment now. In the name of sect, in the name of religion, in the name of power, no one will now be given any license to bully humanity. We, the state, will have that monopoly of power, and we will protect every citizen. And the classic example is of Asia verdict. Ladies and gentlemen, we have suffered enormously. We want the world needs to realize that anything which is taking place in IRJK, alarm bells have already begun. And I have requested our diplomatic team and my Prime Minister, on Prime Minister directives I am here. For heaven's sake, we are like this human body. We are different organs of our motherland. If any organ is unable to do the needful, the whole body suffers. Let's forget our differences. In the name of political ideologies, in the name of politics, or in the name of religion, or in the name of sex. If someone doesn't like this face, or if someone who has any other issue, we need to make them realize that for heaven's sake, humanity comes first. Let's make the globe realize that needful need to be done, that commitment need to be fulfilled. And my Prime Minister as an ambassador, all the political parties, civil armed forces, entire nation is on same page. And let me assure World Kashmir Awareness Forum, all Kashmiris, all those who are doing wonders in their humble capacity, Pakistan and the nation of ours and the Parliament of Pakistan, for us Kashmir is like La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. The sort of commitment we have with Allah and the Holy Prophet, same commitment we have with Kashmir cause, and we will keep on doing what we have been doing. So now, digital front, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they have been approached and they have been asked to come and answer questions of the committee in the Parliament of Pakistan. Similarly, we have made another advisory board law affair where we will take India in International Court of Justice and other forums and will make them answerable and responsible, inshallah. Another area is youth ambassadors. 65% of Pakistanis are under the age of 35. They've got this technology. They need to become a voice of the unheard. We are working on them. Human rights, civil society, and similarly former ambassadors. We have made numerous advisory boards in joint collaboration and with the approval of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So now, in the end, let me give you one last message of the Honorable Prime Minister, that we are committed, and we are committed for humanity, and we will be partners in peace. And the second message is that Pakistan as a responsible state will support anyone in any capacity when it comes to humanity. So ladies and gentlemen, misperception has haunted humanity. So let me put it that way. Ahmed Faraz, son of Pakistan and Kohat, where I come from. And when it comes to Pashtuns, I am a hardcore tribal. And one thing which is very common about us, for love, for affection, for humanity, for anything which gives due importance to human values, we can sacrifice everything. But they say when you suppress them, their resistance power increases. We never give up. We fight till the end. And through our shared commitment and with moral values. So, this son of Pakistan is now giving a commitment to the international community that Pakistan Parliament will be focusing on human values, human rights, and humanity is our priority number one. And inshallah, as Ahmed Faraz in his verses, Ahmed Faraz likhte hain, Ahmed Faraz ko suna hai sachcha? وہ کچھ اس طرح لکھتے ہیں کہ کیسے گزر گئی ہے جوانی نہ پوچھئے، دل رو رہا ہے میری کہانی نہ پوچھئے. وہ اپنا نام استعمال کیا تو میں یہ تھوڑی سی جسارت کروں گا، میں ان کے نام کی جگہ انسانیت اور کشمیر کو رکھ دوں گا. وہ کہتے فراز تیرے عشق میں کیسے لٹ گئے. میں یہاں پہ ایڈ کر رہا ہوں کہ انسانیت اور کشمیر تیرے عشق میں ہم کیسے لٹ گئے، یہ بات ہو چکی ہے پرانی نہ پوچھئے. اب دنیا کو بتانا ہے. اور وہ لوگ جو تھوڑے سے کنفیوزڈ ہیں ان کے لیے میسج یہ کہ ابراہیم علیہ السلام کو آگ میں کس نے بچایا تھا، موسیٰ علیہ السلام کو دریائے نیل میں کس نے بچایا تھا، یونس علیہ السلام کو مچھلی کے پیٹ میں کس نے بچایا تھا. اللہ وہی اللہ ہے. ڈوبتے ڈوبتے کشتی کو اچھالا دے دو، ڈوبتے ڈوبتے کشتی کو اچھالا دے دو، میں نہیں کوئی اور ساحل پہ اتر جائے گا. In the end, let's hear the bell is ringing, calling us to the bright future. Let's join and unite together and prove it to ourselves, to the entire humanity and to our coming generations that humanity needs to be always priority number one. Long live humanity, long live Kashmir, long live this country which has provided an opportunity. Pakistan Zindabad.
Thank you.